So what we're going to be doing in this talk is we're going to be looking into this whole situation to do with beasts of the earth, to try and figure out what the scriptures are actually talking about, what this could actually mean when we realize lastly that's been mentioned from verse 1 to 8. Now, one of the things that we need to do is that we need to analyze the first sentence of we need to analyze number 1, verse 1 to verse 8, but only the first sentence when it mentions hell and death at the very last, right? We need to look at them first, okay? So what we find is that in this text here, it says here the first rider is a king. What's a king? A king has authority. Then when we go to the second one, is a sword. The second rider takes peace from the earth, and he has a sword. The third rider is of hunger, causes famine. The fourth rider is of non-violent death. This is the god Thanatos, the Greek god of non-violent death. That's what he was the god of. So now it makes sense when we eventually get to this. Then when we get fifth, the very last one is hell is mentioned to follow after death. Okay, so we need to think of that, hell, right? Now when we get to the second sentence of verse 8, what we find here is that it says here, and power was given unto them over a fourth part of the earth. Now when you look at the word power, it's actually exousia, the Greek word meaning authority, right? This is the first king's job. They get their authority over the fourth part of the world, the earth, because of the first king. The first rider has authority. So that's how they get their authority. They need the first rider to have authority over a fourth part of the earth. Second to this analysis is that the second is one of a sword. It says to kill with sword. So chronologically, what's the second rider is of war, is given a great sword. The third is of hunger, and with hunger. And of course that's the third rider. And the fourth rider, and it says there, and with death. So see how chronologically it lines up with that. And when it says death here, although they can say plague, I would translate that as non-violent death, mysterious death. And then fifth has to be hellish beasts. It says here, and with the beasts of the earth. And then when we look at Michael Heiser, as a PhD scholar in Semitic languages, he says that in the Canaanite language, earth can also mean netherworld, a form of hell. See that? So you can see that hell and beasts of the earth are actually chronologically mentioned last. Now things are starting to make sense. One is authority, second is a sword, third is hunger, fourth is non-violent death, and fifth is hellish beasts. So what we're going to be looking into, what I'm going to be exploring, is this whole idea that there could be creatures that are connected to hell in some way, that are on the earth and are going against mankind. They haven't completely gone against mankind yet, but sometime in the future, these hellish creatures are going to start taking over the world, or a fourth part of the earth. It's only a fourth part of the earth, you see. You know, whatever this king controls over, the first rider controls over, hell, death, the Greek god Thanatos, hunger, famine, taking peace from the earth, the four horsemen will have authority, basically, over that, to kill mankind. Yeah. So that's what we're going to be looking into, we're going to be exploring whatever these hellish creatures are, and to look at the evidence. But we need to look at hell first. We need to explore hell, people's near-death experiences, of going into hell before we can start looking at, well, start matching what the creatures have been seen in hell to see if they resemble something similar to what people have seen on earth, to see if these creatures are evidently on the earth just now, secretly hidden somewhere, maybe in the wilderness. So that's what we're going to be looking into, is these hellish beasts of the earth.